Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm helping you level up your communication skills. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome aboard and be sure to join me for 3 videos a week discussing extremely cool topics such as public speaking, creative writing, storytelling, emotional intelligence, level up mentality, and much more by hitting that subscribe button right on below. And click that bell notification too so you can stay updated with the latest videos. Do you get offended too quickly? This is a question that no one wants to answer, and this is a question that appeals to the silent majority. 2 important words, silent and majority. It's silent because no one wants to actively raise their hands and be like, I get offended too quickly, look at me. No one wants to do that. Even if this person is one of the most sensitive individuals you know, they're often going to be the last to the party. So that's the silent part. In terms of the word majority, this word indicates that this is not an isolated incident for one person. This is an incident that occurs to many different individuals. Let's picture a guy named Maddie. And when you picture Maddie, I want you to picture a very tough looking individual. He looks like a warrior. Maddie is extremely brave. He wrestles with lions. He swims with sharks. And every now and then, he does the occasional skydiving. A brave guy. When you look at Maddie, you envision strength. You envision power. And you envision someone who is extremely thick-skinned, doesn't take offense to anything. Not quite. If you go up to Maddie and you make a comment about his wardrobe, you say something like, it looks like someone didn't iron their shirt today, I see. He gets livid. It annoys him and it upsets him. When he hears a comment like that, he goes to the bathroom and he starts crying. Maddie, but he's such a brave guy in other parts of his life. Why is he getting so offended regarding this harmless comment? It's because when Maddie was a little child, his 2 older brothers would always bully him and would always make fun of his wardrobe. And this narrative is something that stuck with him for ages. So although he seems like a tough guy, this super brave guy, he still gets offended in certain parts of his life. So it's a normal thing to occur. And for us to understand it on a deeper level, it's coming down to the narratives. Whenever someone gets offended, it comes down to the narratives and how they are applying it. This happened to me one time before as well. This was the stage of my life when I was starting a business with a fellow engineer, and we wanted to kill it. We wanted to make a lot of money and become rich. We were just 2 young kids. We didn't know much about business. So the first venture that we did, we decided to start selling superhero cell phone cases on Amazon. This is genius. People are gonna buy this nonstop. How are you aware of this? Because we liked it. That means other people must like it. How do you think that product went? I feel like it failed. Then you would be correct. That product ended up doing awful, and my business partner and I, we learned our lesson. For the next product, we were going to be selling Bluetooth beanies. And these beanies were stuff that you could wear, and they had built-in speakers so you could connect the Bluetooth to your phone, and you could answer calls, you could listen to music. This one is surely to be a hit. What do you think? Okay, this product is way better than the first one. I feel like this product did well. Then you would be somewhat correct. This product ended up doing well for some time, but unfortunately, this is what we call a seasonal product. People only wear beanies when it's cold. People ain't gonna wear no beanies when it's hot. Therefore, we're not going to get sales when it's too hot. And unfortunately, my business partner and we learned another lesson the very hard way. Now, after the third product, this time we did our market research. This time we did a whole bunch of studying. And this time, eventually, we were led towards tumblers. Tumblers are products which serve as smart mugs, which basically means that if you want to keep your drink cold, you can keep it cold. If you want to keep your drink warm, you could keep it warm. This had to be a perfect product. What do you think? Do you think it went well? Yeah, sure, why not? It ended up going very well, and I actually still have it with me to this day. It's called Silverbound. And although this product ended up going well, as some years went on by, my business partner and we decided to see what else was out there. This product, despite years having passed on by, I still hold with me to this day because it symbolizes what happens when you can move past being offended. And what do you mean by that? So let me tell you, we were selling these products on Amazon, and a lot of Amazon sellers, they get their products from Alibaba, which is a supplying company in China. Back then, which was a couple of years ago, you would interact with these suppliers on their website and you would chat with them. So by the time my business partner and I decided on the tumblers, I was in charge of finding the right supplier that we were going to do business with. And as I'm looking through the different listings, I see this one particular individual who is much cheaper than the rest. And this guy's company has great reviews. Immediately, I hit him up and we start chatting. This guy's name is Andy. And as we're chatting, everything seems to be going well. His English is not that bad at all. It's very fluent. And as we're talking some more, rapport is being built, and he finally asks, how much units would you like? And I confidently write, 100 units. And then there was a pause. I could see that he was typing, and I couldn't quite see the letters yet until he clicked enter. He's typing and typing and typing away. And I'm starting to wonder, what are you going to say? I mean, it seems like a very straightforward response you could give me. Why is this guy typing for so long? And finally, he ends up writing his comment. He writes, ha, ha, ha. What the hell is this about? I said I want 100 units and you're laughing at me? Most normal people, when they write ha ha ha, they're implying that something is funny and they make it as one word. Ha ha ha, one word. But this guy went fancy with it. He made it all separate words and he put periods in all caps. And I'm thinking that he's laughing at me. And then he follows up with another comment. He writes, 100, too little. 1,000, that's good. So first, you're laughing at me, and now you're telling me it's too little? Man, I don't like you, man. And younger me, I was offended. I was offended because I felt as though that this guy was making a mockery out of me. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, Andy, what kind of name is Andy anyways? You just lost some business. So I started hitting up different suppliers. But I was met with a lot of bad news. These other suppliers were extremely expensive and they wanted you to order at least 1,500 plus units for them to do business with you. So I go crawling back to Andy with my tail between my legs and I'm like, all right, Andy, I'll work with you. And he enthusiastically gives me the agreement. We start working it out. And eventually, we end up selling the product. This product not only ended up doing well for us, but it also ended up doing well for Andy too. And eventually Andy, he adds me on Facebook. And I'm able to now put a face to a name. And he's one of those guys where I envisioned him to look a certain way, and he looked exactly like what I envisioned. And from that friend request, he starts cracking jokes with me every now and then on Messenger. And one of these days, he tags me on this Facebook post where he has me and a bunch of other people's faces on this post. He tags our names and he's like, Facebook friends, meet the people who are funding the vacation that I'm taking with my family. Due to these prestigious business clients of mine, I am now making money. Thank you, friends. I'm looking at this like, man, if you don't take me off this picture right now, you pick the most unflattering picture, whatever, keep it up. Andy and I eventually ended up building a friendship, even though in the beginning stages, that seemed very unlikely to happen because I got offended too quickly. Now, what does this say in terms of communications as a whole? If people are consistently offending, does that mean that we always got to push past through it? Not necessarily, because certain people are rude. And with these people, it's better to assume that they don't know any better, so there's not a lapse of judgment coming from your end. When you assume that they don't know any better, this is actually a selfish move on your end, even though it seems like a selfless move. It's selfish, so you don't look like an idiot, and you can still manage them if need be. Let's say that they're a close coworker without losing poise. People like this always exist in the communications world. But another group that exists, and they're plentiful, are the Andys of the world. People with a different cultural norm. See, with Andy, he was never being rude when he wrote ha, ha, ha. That's just how he typed. Once I became Facebook friends with him, I would routinely see the statuses he would post. And Andy, the dude was a joker. He was always writing ha, 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 even to his close friends. So from this plentiful group, this group can often be the quickest to offend us because this group, they're very open. Andy, there was not too much small talk going on. He sped that up very quickly. And when someone is too open, they can every now and then rub certain people who are not as open in the wrong way. So with this group, we assumed that they were not known any better. What do we do if we spot someone like this group? With this group, it's smarter to keep pushing on because opportunities which seem non-existent in the present moment can be opportunities created in the future moment, just like it was with Andy. Now let me bring it back to you, Armani. You brought up Maddie in the beginning of this video, and you talked about how he got offended for the whole fashion thing due to narratives. Why did you get offended? I got offended because there was another guy that I was working with a month or two before who actually ended up being rude, and I was superimposing those past narratives with that past individual to Andy. So taking offense was not even logical. It was completely emotional. Luckily for myself and Andy, we ended up not only building a friendship, but we have a shared connection with one another through this product. And hopefully one of these days in the near future, we are capable of doing business again if he's still running that steel company. Taking offense is always a choice, and taking offense can seem to be high ROI when it's happening, but when the dust settles, opportunities are being snatched away very slowly. Take less offense and open up more opportunities. Thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.